Coming to you today from the Lighter Side Lounge, my name is Summer Joy, and I will be updating you on the latest news stories in the world of professional wrestling. I have the news you need to know about, including major updates on 3 AEW wrestlers, the men and women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament brackets, and an updated match card for this Sunday's AEW Dynasty. First, let's start out with the AEW injury updates. According to Fightful Select, Switchblade Jay White sustained a significant injury, causing him to be replaced by Kevin Knight in the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament. While White was attacked by the Death Riders, it was reported this injury occurred prior to that installment of Dynamite, and AEW needed a storyline to explain it. Their report did not confirm a specific injury, but it did indicate the wrestler will require surgery. Additionally, another Fightful Select report stated Orange Cassidy will be out of action for the foreseeable future after suffering an injury. The former international champion is suspected to have a torn pectoral muscle, but this has not been confirmed. Neither has any surgery plans. Finally, just about a little over an hour ago, Fightful Select released a third injury report for Mark Davis, who was recently able to return from a wrist injury. Fightful Select did not have any specific details to announce regarding Davis's injury, other than it was sustained during a match last week against Powerhouse Hobbs. Their match also ended earlier than originally planned, likely due to the injury. This is very devastating news, I feel like, for AEW. I think that Switchblade Jay White would have been an amazing addition to the Owen Hart Foundational Tournament, but the current lineup, which we'll get to a little bit later, is honestly really good. I'm really excited. I think that there's some room there for stories also. I'm excited to see who wins. I think that this tournament is always something that I look forward to every year for AEW. I think it's always filled with amazing matches, so I'm very excited to see that. In terms of the Orange Cassidy injury, personally, I'm extremely disappointed. He has always been one of my favorites and my family's favorites. I remember the first match we saw of him, and he's always been super friendly with the kids. I think that's a really big part of professional wrestling, always, is to involve the kids in some way, because they're also going to be the future fans. So in terms of that regard, I feel like it's very important to target them also. And my sister and I, we dressed up as Orange Cassidy, actually, to go to an AEW wrestling event. Our first AEW event, actually. We sat on the floor, so we'll put in some pictures here of my sister and I dressing up as Orange Cassidy. It was really cool. He actually, after the match ended, he went over and pointed to everybody who was dressed like him, gave my sister and I a special point. We were actually going insane about that. And then at a Ring of Honor event that we went to, my parents and I went to, he was there. I think it was Death Before Dishonor in Trenton, New Jersey. And he came over and he high-fived everybody on his way out. And we were some of the lucky people to get to high-five him. So that was really cool. So definitely really disappointed that he's not going to have a shot at any of the belts that are currently out there or the men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament. I don't know if he was originally going to be in that tournament or not. My guess is he would have been, so that's really disappointing, I think, especially from a fan's perspective. I was really looking forward to seeing some more of his matches, but I hope he gets back soon. And Mark Davis, that is honestly really awful. I feel so bad. He's worked so hard, seemingly, to get back from all of the injuries that he's had. Same with Jay White. So for them to both have another injury is devastating, but I wish them the best of luck in their recovery. We all do at the Lighter Side Lounge, and I'm hoping to see them soon. I think that their returns will be even better, and I'm really excited to see what the future of AEW holds for them creatively and otherwise. I think it'll be really interesting. Let me know what you think their creative plans might be when they come back in the comments below. Next up, let's talk about the men and women's Owen Hart Foundation tournament brackets. First, let's start out with the men. On one side, we have Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight and Brody King versus Konosuke Takeshita. On the other side, we have Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher and Hangman Adam Page versus a wild card entrant. I think this is bound to be an amazing tournament. If I had to guess right now, I'd say Will Ospreay takes his match versus Kevin Knight, but I don't know, because Kevin Knight is getting a bit of a push by the looks of it, and he's definitely getting some screen time, which I think is very exciting. I always like to see more people getting it split between them than just a few that they normally gravitate towards. So that's very exciting, I think, for the world of AEW. Brody King versus Konosuke Takeshita. If Will Ospreay wins, I'm going to guess Konosuke Takeshita takes it just because of all of the Don Callis family beef. But at the same time, I think Brody King, being Buddy Matthews is out on injury, would also be a very nice winner if they're looking to push his singles career more. So I think that's definitely a very interesting one. In terms of Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher, I think if they're going to go Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher again in the finals, then obviously Kyle Fletcher has to take it, but I'm not sure that that would be my pick necessarily. I think Mark Briscoe can make it far again like he did last year. Hangman Adam Page versus a wild card. I feel like the wild card has to win. I don't know necessarily who the wild card is going to be. I saw some people throwing around Josh Alexander, which would be interesting, I think. Otherwise, maybe Speedball Mike Bailey, but at the same time, he's already made his debut, so that might not be as exciting. Or a few years ago, it was Johnny TV, which I thought was pretty great because I am a massive Johnny TV fan. First saw him on Survivor, so a little shout out to him, I'd say. So I think the wild card itself is going to be very interesting to see who it is, and I could definitely see them taking the match between themselves and Hangman Adam Page. So I feel like that presents some new blood for the tournament, if you will. I think that'll be really fun. Let me know in the comments what you think is on tap for the men's Owen Hart tournament. And if you have a winner picked already, I'm not sure. But yeah, let me know. On the women's side of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, we've got Jamie Hayter versus Billy Starks and Thunder Rosa versus Chris Statlander on one side. And the other side, we have Julia Hart versus Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron versus Athena. These, to me, are really exciting matches. I absolutely love each of the wrestlers that are in here. I did find it a little interesting that there's no wild card entry. If I had to guess, that means that nobody's either returning or debuting for the women's division in the near future, which is kind of disappointing, honestly. I was hoping to see Sky Blue back soon. I heard some rumor mill info that she might be on her way back, but from the looks of it, at least in terms of the tournament, she won't be. But maybe that's AEW trying to throw us off. You never know in wrestling. I'm on to you if that's the case. And anyway, Jamie Hayter versus Billy Starks, I think, is a very fun match. I'm a huge Billy Starks fan. I mean, she was valedictorian of her high school class while wrestling in Japan at the same time. How could you not like that? How could you not be a fan? But Jamie Hayter is also always entertaining, so that match is bound to be really good. Billy Starks has been getting a bit of a push recently, I believe. I feel as though she has been, so I would love to see her come out with the victory, honestly. Thunder Rosa versus Chris Statlander is very intriguing to me also. I think that's bound to be a really exciting match. I don't really know who's going to take it. Looking at this, if Jamie Hayter wins, I'm going to guess Chris Statlander wins, but again, I'm not sure. This is all my speculation. This is all my opinion from me as a fan. Julia Hart versus Mercedes Moné, we're going to talk about a little later because that's actually coming up on this Sunday's AEW Dynasty. So we'll talk more about that later when we talk about the match card. Harley Cameron versus Athena, I'm personally really excited for. If you watched our last video, you know how much of a Harley Cameron fan I really am. I think she's always so entertaining. She takes whatever time AEW gives her and absolutely makes the most of it, which is, I feel like, all you can really ask for from any of the performers in any wrestling company. And Harley Cameron always does such a nice job of that, which I really appreciate as a fan. So I'm really excited to see that match. Athena also, phenomenal wrestler. I'm so excited to see her. We've seen her live at least once, and she is just amazing. So good. And her wings. I absolutely love the gimmick, love the walkout, everything about it. I think that match will be really interesting. I did see some speculation about a Mercedes Moné versus Athena match, so I have to say, if Mercedes Moné wins, I'm guessing it'll be Athena, especially because Mercedes Moné just recently wrestled Harley Cameron, so I think that'll definitely be something interesting to look for. But yeah, no wild card is a little disappointing, but otherwise, an absolutely stacked tournament. So I think it'll be fun. Let me know who you've got in the comments below. And let me know about Sky Blue. What have you heard on the rumor mill streets or any other streets? Finally, let's take a look at the updated lineup for AEW Dynasty coming this Sunday, April 6th, according to PW Insider. Before I start, I just want to say that the order that I'm going to be going in is the order that PW Insider had listed on their little report. I don't know if it's going to be the official lineup. I have no clue, but this is the order that we're going in here. So, just want to put that out there. I don't have the inside scoop on that. But that being said, first up we have Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight in an Owen Hart Foundation quarterfinal match. So, as I was talking about before a little bit, I can see Will Ospreay taking this if they want to go with more of the Don Callis family drama. If not, Kevin Knight being a newer, fresher blood to AEW could be a really fun surprise win, in my opinion. And being it's taking place on the pay-per-view, I think that could be an indicator that something crazy might happen. And who knows? The Don Callis family might interrupt. I don't know. In which case, maybe they'll have a rematch. I don't know. I don't know what would happen in that case. But either way, I think it's interesting. And I would expect Will Ospreay to come out on top for this one, but who knows in that front. Next up is AEW TBS champion Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart in an Owen Hart Foundational quarterfinal match also. So this one I didn't really talk about before because I knew we were going to be talking about it now. I would guess Mercedes Moné is going to come out on top, especially given the whole Athena speculation. Otherwise, Julia Hart is one of my faves in terms of character. I think her whole shtick is so fun. I mean, it's dark, but I think it's still fun to watch. So I think she would be a very nice surprise winner also. But being Mercedes Moné has the belt and everything, I don't foresee her losing. But I think that's very interesting in itself. Then we have the Bad Apple, Brian Keith, and Big Bill versus the Hurt Syndicate, which is Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. This one, I think, is very intriguing. I absolutely love the Hurt Syndicate's whole little thing with MVP. I think they are just so good, really, at what they do, what they come out there and do every single week. And I hope that Shelton Benjamin is doing better travel-wise. I was a little disappointed that he wasn't there last night, but again, I just hope that everybody is in safety and good health that is dealing with all of the weather that is in the Midwest, and I would rather obviously have him miss a show than have something bad happen, so I'm glad that he was able to take the night off. In terms of this match, I would again say the Hurt Syndicate is coming out on top, especially given this wasn't the original plan for the match. I think that's very interesting. So I wouldn't expect to see Brian Keith and Big Bill come out with the victory, but who knows? It's a pay-per-view. AEW always comes out strong with their pay-per-views, so anything could happen really. But yeah, with everything the Hurt Syndicate potentially has going on with MJF also, I would expect to see them come out with the victory. Next up is the AEW Championship with Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole. This one I am not really sure about, to be honest. If I had to guess, I would go Daniel Garcia, just based on past history, but I could also see Adam Cole coming out with the victory. I don't know, I feel like that's a very intriguing match, so I'll be excited to see that one. And then we've got the Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac versus Rated FTR with Cope, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood for the AEW World Trios Championship. This one is definitely a tricky one. I'd say with the way things are going with Rated FTR, I don't see them winning unless they win only to implode either right after the match or in coming episodes of Dynamite, where maybe they start slowly turning on each other even more than they already are. I feel like that could be a very intriguing storyline to have them hold the belts and then have them implode. Otherwise, if they don't win, I would imagine it's going to be because they implode right on Dynasty during the match, in which case I could see the Death Riders definitely coming out on top. And I wouldn't even be surprised if one of the members of Rated FTR, I'm not really sure who yet, joins the Death Riders also. I could see that definitely potentially being an option for Sunday, especially if you want them to implode and you want them to have beef. I could definitely see them going that direction. Honestly, in that case, I kind of hope it's Adam Copeland, only because Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler have had the tension going between them now. So I feel like it would be a nice little detail to have Cope actually be the one to turn on them instead. So I don't know. I feel like that would be really interesting. I think it would save a lot of room for some really good storytelling in the near future. So definitely keep an eye on that one for Sunday. Next up, we've got Megan Bayne and Timeless Toni Storm in a battle for the AEW Women's World Championship. Now, this one is a little rocky for me, to be honest. I absolutely love Toni Storm. I think that everything that she has done with her character has been phenomenal, and I think it's made for some really amazing storylines, especially the one that recently ended between her and Mariah May. I think was just top tier, honestly. She is just so good at what she does. And Megan Bayne is newer to the AEW roster, so I honestly don't know as much about her as I was hoping that I would know at this point when she's in a match for the Women's Championship. So I think that one's definitely an interesting one to keep an eye on. But I do foresee Toni Storm coming out with the win, unless maybe Penelope Ford interrupts, which, by the way, love Penelope Ford too. I think everything that she's done with her gimmick is just so funny. And I love the black coat. The black coat with the fur that she comes out in. I want one. Anyway, that's a little besides the point. But I would definitely see Timeless Toni Storm coming out with the victory, unless they want a big shakeup in the women's division, in which case I could see Megan Bayne winning. Next up, we have one that I'm going to be keeping a special eye on this Sunday, which is Ricochet versus Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kenny Omega for the AEW International Championship. This one I think is bound to be really fun, especially given all of their wrestling styles. I think that Ricochet is really amazing with what he does. We saw him a few times when he was in WWE, and every time just came out there to give it his complete all, put his entire body on the line, as everybody does every time that they go out in that ring. So I think he's definitely going to be one to watch on Sunday. Speedball Mike Bailey, we have seen a couple times in TNA, and I just think that his wrestling is so fun to watch. I absolutely love it, and I love his walkout. I think it's so much fun. And yeah, I'm really excited to see him already getting a title opportunity in AEW. I think that checks out to me, at least, as someone who has seen him in TNA and has seen the way that he has wrestled. So if you don't know as much about Speedball Mike Bailey, I would definitely recommend checking out some of his former matches. They are absolutely a joy to watch every single time. Kenny Omega is always fun to watch. His walkout is hilarious, honestly. I love the new one. I think it's so much fun. And the people love him. I mean, how much more can you ask from a potential champion winner, especially in this trios match, or triple threat match, my bad. In terms of winner, I would guess Kenny Omega, just as of right now, because I don't think that they would put the belt already on Speedball Mike Bailey, but I could be wrong. I think that would be a really fun idea to have him already hold a belt. I think I think he deserves it, to be honest, but I don't know. Ricochet had all that turmoil and tension between him and Swerve Strickland, and he recently got married, so congrats to him and Samantha Irvin. Really great for them. So given all of that, I can't see him holding the belt just yet, but I could be wrong. And Kenny Omega is honestly my pick for the winner. The people love him. He's a great performer, and he recently came back. So I feel like all those things combined, I think he's got the belt. Finally, we have Swerve Strickland versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. This one is definitely going to be interesting to watch, I think. Jon Moxley with that spike spot was crazy stuff. So I can only imagine what this match has in store for it, especially given this one's on a pay-per-view and likely the main event. I think this is liable to be a very intense match, especially with the spots that Swerve has done in the past also. Honestly, I'm really excited to see Prince Nana dancing. I don't know, guys. In terms of winner, I could see, if they want a big shakeup, I'm going to go Swerve Strickland. But if they want to keep it kind of Jon Moxley's AEW, then I could see him keeping the belt. I could see him retaining. And I think that this is liable to be an absolutely insane match either way. There's probably going to be interference from the Death Riders, so I think it'll be interesting to see if anybody comes to the aid of Swerve Strickland in this match specifically. I think that could build up for some great storylines, so I'm really excited to see that. Let me know in the comments below who you have winning for each of these matches, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Either way is fine, just let me know. I would love to see your guys' opinions. That's all I've got for you today on this installment of the Lighter Side Lounge. Please hit the like, subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified every time we post a new video. Drop a comment. Let me know how I did on my first solo news show. My mom, you might have seen, is a journalist. I am going to school for journalism, actually. I'm double majoring. One of them is in journalism. So this is the journalism portion of my journey into the future. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you stick around. And I'm really excited, and I hope that you are too. I hope you got some good news from this video. And thank you for watching. Thank you for spending your time to watch me talk about something that I love, and hopefully you love too. Hopefully I have given you some good information, and as always, please remember to stay on the lighter side. I have a psychology exam, but I got a 104 on the last one, so we're feeling pretty good right now. And I pay attention in class, so I should be pretty good. I just have to look over the study guide quick. And we're ready to get another 104.